I'm back in the Hunua Ranges. I'm at the Lower Mangatawhiri camping area. So it's an area designated for camping. And as a result, if you have a look over there, you may or may not be able to see it, but there's a picnic table which I'm going to use to cook on, far better than cooking on the ground. But it's still a good 2-hour walk. I think it's about 7 or 8k from the car, so it's not too bad, but it's certainly, you have to work a little bit to get here. You know, you're not going to just fall out of the car and set up. Well, there it is behind me, all set up. The weather's not looking too good. There's big black clouds overhead. Might rain, might not. But either way, we'll be comfy in there. So this appears to be an excellent tent. Quite a good attention to detail. You've got these little toggles to hold this back. There's a T-zip here, so you can open that way and get in. You can close it down and close it across. It's pretty good because right now the midges are terrible. They're just everywhere. So I'm keeping it shut because I don't want to go to bed and have a whole pile of midges. But you could roll that up and toggle it on. It's the same front and back. The poles are just trekking poles, as you can see. Plenty of ventilation. It sits quite high. The tub's beautiful. It's quite interesting. It's made of a sil nylon, obviously, but it's quite a heavy denier. I think it's about 30 denier, and a lot of the lightweight American tents you get, they're only 7 or 8 denier, and you can almost see your hand through them. It's a bit like trying to waterproof tissues, I think. So this is really solid. It has a 5000 PU floor, so again, really waterproof. You can get an optional footprint for it if you want to, but really well made, well thought out tent. And I think it'll do me fine, actually. More room than what I thought. It's really big inside. 2 vestibules, 1 on either side, and plenty of room to put your stuff. So let's start off by talking about my new cook set, which looks like this. You've probably seen these before. It's just a Trangia. Comes in a bag like so, and the stove part there. It's one of those things, really, isn't it? We've been in lockdown in Auckland, and for the last 108, 109 days we haven't been able to pretty much leave the city. So what do you do when you're at home with nothing to do? You buy things online, don't you? So I bought this, the Trangia 27. I had an old 25, it's probably 25, 30 years old, and that served me really well, but I thought it was time to shout myself a new one, which I did. I also bought the tent, which you've seen. So I guess the first thing we'll do is have a cup of tea, because you know me, love my cup of tea. So we'll put all that away, grab this out, and we will fill this up with meths. Oh yep, that's starting to go now, so let's get that in there. So I like using the Trangia. It's very peaceful, it's very easy to use. So it's a great little set, and ideal for this. A little bit smaller, being the 27, and just right for me. And I particularly like this set because it came with an anodized pot. It also came obviously with the frying pan, but it had a they call it a chopping board, and that sits in the frying pan, so it stops the non-stick of the frying pan getting damaged and scratched and things like that. Looks like my cup of tea's almost boiled. Cheers. So I'm just going to have my my cup of Earl Grey, and then we'll sort some dinner out, I think. So the plan is to use the new Trangia and do a bit of a teriyaki stir fry, I think. I've brought a bit of meat along and an onion and a few bits and pieces. We'll just do it on some noodles. Really simple, just so I can try out my new Trangia and, well, see how it works, I guess. So let's get started, shall we? So the first thing we're going to do is just boil up some water for the noodles. Trangia going. There we go, I think. Yep, there we go. So that'll bloom in a second. So the first thing we'll do is we'll chop up our onion and get that ready. So that's simple. I like it quite thick and not really not really finely chopped at all. Put that to one side. So as far as I'm concerned, just like that. That suits me down to the ground. Put that in there. So that's there. And put that in there as well. Right. So I think my water's boiling. All I really need to do is just throw the noodles in there now. Oh yeah, plenty warm enough. And we'll just leave those to soften up, reconstitute, and they'll be fine. They'll only take 5 minutes to do that. So they're quite happy like that. We don't need to worry too much about that. So we'll just take that off, put that to one side there, and what we might do is just put that lid on just to keep it a bit warmer. So what we want to do now is get the frying pan going. Flick these open, and we'll put the frying pan on top, and I don't think we need a sand fly in there, do we? And away we go. It's starting to get hot enough, I think. Don't need it all that hot, so we'll just put some oil in there. Okay, I think that's starting to look alright. Let's just pop these onions in. Yeah, got a good sizzle to it. I think I've just discovered my first problem. Frying pan's too small. Really does depend how you like your onions, how long you leave them in there. I like mine reasonably crispy. Here's some I prepared earlier, so this is just some bits of meat that I chopped up earlier. It's just a blade steak in actual fact, so very cheap cut of meat. And I've just chopped it up. So we'll just chop that in, chuck that in there. Yeah, I think if you're a vegetarian, you probably should look away now. Maybe I should have had a warning on the packet. Give these a minute or two, but not much more than that, I don't think. So that looks about right. So the only thing now we have to add is some of this. So this is a teriyaki sauce. Essentially what you've got in here is some sesame seeds, a little bit of ginger, soy sauce, garlic, and those sort of normal bits and pieces. And this is going to be our teriyaki sauce. So let's just pour that over now. We'll just nick the bottom of the bag like so. Tasty. And just squeeze it all in there basically. Make sure that's all nicely mixed through and everything's all coated. There we go. That's what it looks like, and I think she's ready to go. So snuff that out, and the next thing we have to do is sort our noodles out. Just using the strainer, we just strain off the excess water just like that. So simple as that. Grab our noodles, put them on the plate like so. And now for the teriyaki steak. So that's what it looks like. Teriyaki steak on some noodles. As I said, you could put a few cashews on there, maybe some vegetables, a little bit of garnish and whatnot. But hey, out in the middle of the bush, what do I care? This looks really good. So if you like some, help yourself. Let's try it, shall we? I think it's going to be a bit hot actually. Should have broken those noodles up a little bit. Delicious. Tell you what, nice meal out like this, can't beat it, can you? Really nice. There you go. Sorry, excuse my bad manners stuffing myself, but it tastes great. After a couple of hours walk, I'm hungry. And this is well worth the wait. Well worth the wait. So as I said, help yourself. It's getting a little bit late now. Not quite sure what the time is, but it gets dark around sort of 8:30 at this time of the year. And I'm guessing we're about a half an hour away from that. So I've time to finish this up, make myself a cup of tea, and do the dishes. There's a stream just down there, so we'll do the dishes. And I think we'll get an early night. Well, good morning everybody. First night in the new tent went really well. It rained a little bit overnight, nothing too serious, but certainly the tent's waterproof, which is great. No wind or anything, but just a little bit of rain. But slept really well. It's getting on for mid-morning. I think it's about 7:30, 7:45, so it's probably time we got up and had a bit of breakfast and packed up and decided to head out. I don't know what the weather's like outside. Might still be wet, I don't know. So it's rather nice in here. I will say this mesh screen inner certainly doing its job. There's about 5,000 mosquitoes having a convention on the inner tent, or on the fly of the tent. They can't get into me obviously because of the inner, which is great. If I was just underneath a a fly or bivvying or something like that, I think they would have made a meal of me. So pretty pleased about that. So let's get on, make some breakfast and start to pack up. So I'm very impressed with my new tent. I think it's going to serve me well. I've got a little bit to learn how to pitch it so I get it all nice and taut in all the right places. So I was a little bit saggy this morning, but nothing surprising in that really, given the amount of water we've had overnight. So yeah, good tent, nicely done. Very impressed with it. So welcome to breakfast. Breakfast is, well, my usual backcountry. I rather like this backcountry cooked breakfast. I know some people don't like the tomato in there, but yeah, no, I think it's great. A bit of bacon and eggs and a bit of tomato and hash brown and all sorts of things. So, yep, it's working for me. And I'll enjoy it. So, help yourself. Add to this the required cup of Earl Grey tea without the mosquito in there, and we're perfect. So you can see we're in a bit of a river valley here. So there's some steep hills that way and that way. It's a bit of a V. The sun's trying to come up over the hills. It's mid-morning at the moment, so we're talking about, I don't know, 9:30, something like that, and we're only just, as you can see there, we're only just getting the sun coming into here. So it's a great place if you want to sleep in. The sun's not going to wake you up. Yeah, beautiful little spot. Nothing more than some flattened area there. So remember to follow the doctrine, leave no trace. You don't want to be picking up other people's rubbish, and you don't want other people to pick up your rubbish. So there it is, leave it like you found it. Leave no trace. Well, it's a beautiful morning for the walk back to the car. It's only a couple of hours. Lovely sunshine, unlike last night where it rained overnight. Now, I didn't film much. I preferred to stay hiding in the tent out of the rain. But if you want to watch me floundering around in the mud and the rain, check out that video there. I'll see you over there. See you later.